Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethesda, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, and the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool when the water is stirred. While I'm trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." At once, the man was cured, and he picked up his mat and walked. Now jump a few verses to verse 14. Later, Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, "See, you're well again. Stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." And then I want us to jump to chapter 7 of the Gospel of John. In chapter 6, Jesus turned fed a multitude, fed 5,000. But in chapter 7, the story of this man that was healed at Bethesda comes back again. And I want us to look at Jesus' commentary of of his healing of this man. John chapter 7, verse 23. Jesus says, "Now if a child can be circumcised on the Sabbath so that the law of Moses may not be broken, why are you angry with me for healing the whole man on the Sabbath?" What are the top New Year's resolutions that people make? Come on, help me out. What's the number one? Yeah, lose weight. What's another one? Drink less. Another one, exercise more. There's something that these New Year's resolutions have in common, you probably notice, is they have to do with health, right? Most people think of health. Now there's other resolutions. I want to make more money. But most of the resolutions, the ones that are important to people, is they want to get fit. They want to be healthier. Because there's one thing we all know, that whenever we become sick, it makes life miserable. You know, you can have a lot of things going for you. You can have a lot of money in the bank, but when you're sick, you're not happy. And surveys have shown conclusively that people consider health to be the number one factor to one's happiness. So when you're sick, life's miserable. And I find it very interesting that the Gospels portray Christ more of healing the sick than almost anything. Because he knows that's where we find misery, is when we're not healthy. So what do I find in this story that can help us in our own walk in health? Is I think the first thing that this story tells me is this man wasn't healed at the pool of Bethesda. By the way, Bethesda happens to be one of the top names that hospitals are named after. And that's because of this story. But I want you to notice this man wasn't healed at the hospital called Bethesda. Or he was healed near it, but he wasn't healed because of it. The waters did not cure him. Instead, he was cured by Jesus Christ. So you know what the first thing that tells me? That if I am to pursue health, I can't pursue health on my own. I have to look to the Gospels and recognize Jesus is the one that can heal me. And not just heal me physically, but heal the whole man. And see, what we have to recognize is that Christ is our healer. He's Jehovah Rapha, our physician. And many of us are trying to seek health outside of Christ. But we're not going to really live healthy without him. Oh, that doesn't mean you can't get into shape. There's a lot of folks that have developed biceps that will make you drool. Some have abs that can make you envy. Well, see, I don't go for abs. I go for the whole keg. Why have 6-packs when you can have the whole keg? I'll tell you what. And I have reached my goal. But you see, it's not whether or not you can get in a bikini. It's not whether or not you can look like you came out of GQ magazine. But a lot of folks, they have their physical looks, but there's a lot of sickness in their life. And it may not be physical. It could be spiritual. See, when I noticed what Jesus said about this man, he said, I came to heal the whole man. Can you all say whole? That's WHOLE. It means complete, total. That means there's more to our health than physical health. See, I know there's something wrong about this man. He didn't just have problems with his legs for 38 years. There was a spiritual problem. How do I know that? Because when he meets him later that evening, he looks at him and says, stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you. You see, Jesus discerned there was more than just a man's weak legs. He was weak spiritually. He had fallen into sin. And somehow in his life, because of his sin, he contracted this illness and he became diseased and was an invalid. Jesus knew there was something more to his life. So you can go out to the gym and exercise 3 or 4 times a week. And how many of y'all know there's a lot of folks going out to the gyms, they're exercising, but they're going to the gyms for ulterior motives, because the gym is the new pickup bars. Yeah, people aren't picking people up so much in bars, they're now going to the gyms. And why not? Because then they can get a better look at the people. In the bars, they're half drunk and it's dark. She looks good. He's a hunk. And now you found out he wasn't a hunk, he was a chunk. When you got him in the light. And that hot girl, in that little dark nightclub, the moment you put her under the bright lights, whoa! Where did the girl go that I picked up? I'm her. No, you're not. So, the new pickup bar is those gyms. And so what do we have? We have people working out, and they're getting their six-pack, they're getting their biceps, and they're looking good and chiseled, and they're looking sharp, and they're looking like an hourglass figure, and then they go out and have these rendezvous, cheating on their spouses, and they think they're healthy. No, friend, you're sicker than you ever realize. Because what good is it to have your physical looks and to have your physical shape and even physical health if morally you're sick? And many, like this man at the pool of Bethesda, was morally sick. Not just physically sick, but there was something morally in his life. And when Jesus comes into our life, he doesn't come just to fix our bodies. He comes to fix our souls.